Ruthless people. We all know some. Someone that would go to great lengths to get what they want. Some would be willing to lie, steal, or cheat. These kind of people are usually selfish, and many times they're very scared of losing what they have. In today's chapter, the daughter of Jezebel becomes Satan's #1 champion. She is his employee of the month. But then someone else unexpectedly saves the day. Welcome to the Word for 2022. Today we're in 2 Kings chapter 11. Jehu has been cleaning house. The house of Ahab is being destroyed. The king of Judah was killed by Jehu as he fled to Megiddo. Now here in chapter 11, verse 1, the mother of the king, who is Jezebel's daughter, heard that her son is dead. So now she proceeds to get rid of the entire royal family. Her thought is that if my son can't be king, then no one will. Her thought is that the royal line of David would end once and for all. Then in verse 2, Jehosheba, she takes Joash, who is the king of Judah's son, and hides him in the temple of the Lord. That way he wouldn't get killed. She hides him there in the temple for 6 years. Then in the 7th year, the priest of God calls all the commanders and all the guards together to surround the temple so that Joash is protected, and then he is anointed as the king. This is the process of having a coup to get rid of the grandmother so she's no longer in power. When Joash is anointed king, then trumpets are blown and people yell out, "Long live the king." Well, when the grandmother hears the commotion, she comes down to the temple and she sees what has taken place. She cries, "Treason and treason," but she is seized, taken out of the temple, and outside the palace grounds, she's killed. In verse 17, the priest of God then makes a covenant between God, the king, and the people, that once again they would be the Lord's people. The people then respond by going and demolishing the temple of Baal and killing its priest. Joash is only 7 years old when he is anointed king, but during his reign, he rebuilds the temple of the Lord. He is a revival king. Jehosheba was a very brave woman. She's only mentioned 2 times in Scripture, but God used her to keep the line of David alive and intact. The line of David, that is where Jesus would come from, and he would sit on the throne of David. Jehosheba was willing to risk everything for something greater than herself. In the midst of chaos and Satan's desire to thwart God's plans and promises, God was working behind the scenes. As we read this chapter, it is true. One person can make a difference. One person can change the course of history. With just one act of bravery, the tide can turn. Throughout Scripture, God looks for just one person that he can use. With just one person, directed by God, everything can change. From the reality in this chapter, you can be the person that God could use to change your family, your school, your workplace, or your community. Thank you for joining the Word for 2022.